Hey guys, this is Naveen here. Welcome back to Naveen Automation Labs and back to our design pattern series. So today we are going to talk about what is factory pattern. So factory pattern is again a very popular pattern where you can see in this basic design pattern where we have to create a factory and the factory will help me to create the object of number of implementing classes. This is just like a real-time factory you can assume where client has no idea, like you and me has no idea that how exactly that factory is producing that material or creating that particular object and everything, right? We have no idea about it. So just like here in the factory pattern also, what we will do, let's for example, we will try to create maybe one abstract class or one interface class where we simple define the number of methods, and then that method will be implemented by the various classes. Like for example, the car could be sedan type, SUV type, or maybe truck or mini type or anything. And then we are going to implement these methods in these respective classes. And then we will create one important class. This is your car factory class over here. This car factory class will actually create the object of on the basis of the client expectation or on the basis of the client requirement. We'll try to create the object of these classes. So, right. So we are actually not giving any option to create the object to the user. We are just simply saying that, okay, fine. You just simple call and use this particular car factory, and this factory will give you the object of that particular class and then use the method of that class here. So this is just like a normal factory, a real time or real world factory, which is helping me to create the number of products here. But this is completely encapsulated, completely hidden from the client that how exactly we are implementing the products and everything here, right? So it is actually a kind of factory pattern. When I show you, then you will understand better. But this is a basic design of number of classes and interfaces that I have created here. This can be achieved with the help of interface also, or with the abstract class also here, right? So what exactly I'm going to do it here is that, let's say I've created this particular package, and then I'm going to create one interface here, or you can create one abstract class also here. So let's say I start with the interface, and this is the car interface that I have created. In this particular car interface, according to our design, let's say I'm going to create one method, assemble method, that I'm going to create it here. So let's create one simple assemble abstract method here. So here, this method, let's see, I'm writing one assemble method, and then here, this is the abstract method. This method, you can return anything. You can just overload this method also, but we cannot have the method body here, right? Because this is the interface method. Then what exactly I'm going to do here is that I'm going to create three different classes, which like exactly the product classes that I'm going to create. Let's see, we have one product is SUV class, right? And this SUV class is actually implementing. So here I'm writing implements the car interface. And now it's SUV class responsibility to implement that particular method. So I'm going to implement that method. That is the assemble method here. So I'm going to override this method. And let's see, I'm writing system.out.println. This is your SUV assembling. Okay, SUV assembling here. Now, similarly, I'm going to create other two classes also, other two product classes here, right? So here, try to understand four different layers actually. This is actually the top interface level. And these are the three implemented classes according to the product. So let's say tomorrow you can have a product class in e-commerce application, and then number of product classes that you can create. And those product objects that you are creating here in the factory. And now this factory class is being used by the client side. See this is the main method, which will behave like a caller method or a client method for me, right? So four different layers we have to create here. So now I'm going to create one more class here. Let's create that. So let's see, I'm going to create one sedan type. And in sedan also, let's see, I'm going to have exactly same thing, which is also implementing the car interface here. So let's write implements the car interface, but here I'm writing this is a sedan assembling here. And similarly, let's create one more class. Let's see, I'm going to create, let's create one more class. Let's see, a mini type car, right? So let's see, click on finish, and then mini also is implementing the car interface here, right? So three different products that we have created, and this is, let's see, a mini class assembling here like this. Perfect. So now I'll do one thing, that now I'm going to create the fourth one, which is the fourth module, which is the car factory. So I'm going to create my factory class here. So let's create this car factory, which will create the object, or which will maintain all the objects of the different products like SUV, sedan, and mini here, right? So this car factory, let's see, is available here. And this car factory is having one method. Let's create one method here that let's see, write one method. Let's see, get car method here. And then this get car method says that you have to provide the as an input parameter that I'm asking that, okay, tell me the car type, that which type of car object that you want, right? And then immediately I'm putting one condition here that if the car type, let's see, one basic null check here is equal to null, then I'm simply saying return null from here like that, right? So we will see that we will change the void type also in some time. Then I'm writing another if condition that if that the car type, which is a dot, let's see, equals ignore case, if it is equal to, let's see, we have our, let's see, SUV car type, then what exactly you want to return. Then I'm saying you have to return the SUV class object here. So I'm returning the SUV class object here like this, right? And then I'm going to write another else if here. Let's create one more else if. And then here I'm asking that if it is a sedan type, then you have to create the object of sedan class here and then return. And then I'm creating one more class object, which is the type of a mini type. Then I'm going to create the object of a mini type here. Later on, you can just refactor this code. You can just pass these hard-coded value from the enum or something like that. But right now I'm just directly writing the string values here and then return the specific class object here. So this is the car factory class that I have created. And then if nothing is available, then I'm simply writing a return null from here. So instead of void, what should I write? Instead of void that we have to return, we can say that we are returning null and then respect to the car object. So I can return the parent class or parent interface reference variable also here like this. So get car will give you the respective car here like that. So this method is simple, ready here. Now I'm going to create what? Now I'm going to create this particular a demo class or the client class, which will have the main method, and we will try to test this particular feature here. So I'll do one thing. I just simply go to my package and then let's create one car test here and having the main method. Now I'll do one thing. This is the car factory. So I want to call this method. So I have to create the object of car factory. So let's create the object of car factory here. Let's see, car factory. Factory is equal to new car factory object that I have created, right? And this particular factory dot, and then I can call this particular method get car method, and then you can simply supply what kind of car that you want. So I'll say I want the SUV car or SUV type car. So get car method will be called, and then car type will be SUV, not equal to null. It is equal to SUV. So return the SUV current class object. So it's giving me the current class object. So can I store inside the one reference variable? Let's see, this is my car C1, or let's see, this is my, I would say SUV a car, which is equal to that. And then with this particular SUV car, I can simply call the assemble method here. So which car will be assembled here? So SUV car will be assembled here. So when I try to run this, and then you will see the console output that the SUV is assembling here. Perfect. So a get car method is returning me the car reference. So I'm storing inside the car class reference only. It's returning the SUV class car object, but SUV car is already implementing the car interface. So I can just simply return the car interface also from here. I can return the parent reference also here. So that is what I'm storing inside the car reference variable and calling this assemble method here. So here you see that this car test, or this is a client class, has no idea that how exactly the objects are getting created and everything here. So this is complete encapsulation for the object creation we are doing with the factory pattern here. Now let's just start calling other classes also, or other types, other products also. So let's see, the product number 2 is the sedan type. Then in that case, I'll say this is my sedan car. Then I'll write that is sedan car, assemble it. Then sedan car will be assembled here. So it's completely up to the client that from the factory, what exactly they want. So sedan assembling here, right? So let's try with the mini type also. And then here I'm writing, this is my mini car. And let's see, I'm writing here, that is the mini type car. And then this mini car dot assemble here like that. And then again, I'm running it. And then you see the console output. The mini car is actually assembling here. So this is such a nice and clean code that we have written. Car factory is the most important factory class here, which is behaving like a factory and which is actually creating the actual products here and respective products that we have separately implemented, that how exactly these three units of products are implementing the car interface, and the business logic is written here in the assembly method in each and every method here. And then we're just assembling all the products here by returning the object of that particular product and then giving to this particular car test. And then car test is actually creating the object of factory. Get car method is getting called, passing the product name, and then getting the car reference variable and calling the respective method over here, right? So this is what we have achieved the factory pattern here. So factory pattern is, again, I'll repeat quickly, that completely isolation of the object creation. Second thing is that tomorrow, if any new products are coming, let's see 10 more products or 10 different types of car is coming, SUV, sedan, mini, let's see, maybe some petrol car or maybe some more bike cars or any kind of cars are coming, then in that case, I can easily implement it here. And then all the cars are implementing the car interface. This interface could be abstract class also here. And then we just need to create separate entry for that. One more new product, 5 more products are there. Let's see, 5 different products that we have to add it here. You can write one switch case also here like that. So this is a very good example that we can, same example we can use with some e-commerce application also, where number of category wise. So a category factory also we can create that, product factory also we can create it here accordingly here. So I'll do one thing in the next video. I'll prepare one example for you guys, how to integrate the factory pattern with Selenium, like how exactly we can achieve the same thing with the Selenium WebDriver also here to initialize the WebDriver. Because in WebDriver also what we have, WebDriver also we have the respective Chrome driver class, Firefox driver class, Safari driver class, and then we can have one WebDriver interface, something like this. So we will try to do something there as well here. Okay. So thank you so much. Thanks for watching Naveen Automation Labs. Till then, take care and God bless you guys.